Hello! Welcome to Taylor Talks Comics Live. Today on National Lottery Day, which I do not advise you guys go play the lottery. I feel like it's a waste of money. And personally, I hate the lottery, but it's National Lottery Day. It's also Aaron Paul's birthday. And who else did I see? Whose birthday? Oh, Paul Rubens, the late Paul Rubens, aka PB Herman, who I've got joining us back here, right there. Paul Rubens' birthday. So we got a good show going on today. Of course, we're going to talk about the comic book news. It's what we do here every Wednesday at noon Eastern on Taylor Talks Comics Live. We go to the comic book news. Oh, Razor Ramen. It's his birthday as well. Happy birthday, Razor. One of my favorite YouTube names ever, by the way. Razor Ramen. Like Razor Ramon, the cool guy. Scott Hall. Yes, we got a good show. We're going to talk about comic book news. And then around 12:30, I'm going to bring on live Josh Greathouse to talk about Ballad of the Tiger and his Kickstarter. Have a live interview. So it's going to be exciting. He'll be on for a little bit. And also, I would like to say thank you to everyone watching this live or later. And by the way, if you're not watching this live and you're watching it on the replay, drop a comment. I reply to all comments, so you don't feel like you're out of the mix with the chat. But if you're in the chat, obviously drop some stuff in here too. I like to let you guys guide the conversation as well, not just me controlling the flow of comic book conversation. But I do want to thank all you guys. I hit 4,000 subscribers last night on YouTube, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. My goal when the year started was to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. And we've got 3 months to go. The pace that I'm on right now, as far as subscriber count goes, and like the pace of like how many I'm accumulating at a time, it'll be very, very close at the end of the year. So I need you guys' help to hit that. And the way you guys can help is by sharing my channel, sharing my links to my videos, sharing links to my channel in general on all of your social media. Or if you guys talk comics over on Reddit or Facebook groups or whatever, all of that helps a lot. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a little bit of your time. And it goes a long way into helping me out. And then obviously like commenting on my videos and giving a thumbs up and that kind of jazz also helps as well. And I appreciate it. I have been enjoying my time here on YouTube and hoping that I can continue to make it kind of a not my main job. One day maybe it could be my main job, but right now it's nice to have it as a nice little addition to the income here at the TTC headquarters. Super chats are always welcome as well. I'm always be grateful for those. Those go a long way. But yeah, and then over on TikTok, I hit 500 people, 500 subscribers or 500 followers. And then on Instagram, I hit like 2,000. So those all happened in the matter of last week. So I feel a surge going on, and I got to thank you guys the most. The guys that are watching the show are the most valued viewers. You guys are the most committed, and I appreciate that so much. So let's see what you guys are talking about before we go on. Buy my book. Yes, Josh Greathouse, his Kickstarter for Ballad of the Tiger, which we will talk about a lot more when he's on air, is doing really well. I have a video on my channel I just did, my most recent video, showing these off and talking about it. If you want to get a look at the interiors and things. The Kickstarter campaign is going really well. Charles Burns is mine. Yes. Harvey Picar's Ghost. In my Discord, which I also have a Discord where we talk comics. If you want to join for free. Costs nothing. Informed us that Charles Burns has a risograph mini comic that he is selling, and it's very limited. So if you're a big Charles Burns fan, like everyone should be, because Charles Burns is great. It's either going to be a good show, a horrible one with Josh. Who's got the popcorn? Josh doing a critic imitation. Like the show? The critic, like the animated show? It's also my birthday. Yes, yes, yes. Well, it wasn't a waste of money. Q's sponsor. Happy birthday, Razor. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes, Razor Ramen. Happy birthday. Taking dog on a walk and listening in. Thank you, Booster Green. My favorite thing to do. Yes, Harvey Picar's ghost is a frequent dog walker. He is. If you aren't watching live, you aren't VIP. Well, that's Harvey Picar's ghost opinion. If you watch my show at all, you're always a VIP. Hello from Istanbul. I like your top fives videos. Yeah, I've been doing that on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and TikToks. So thank you for that. You mean 50K? Not by the end of the year. 50K. I think. I don't know. I'll set my next goal depending on how 5K goes. I will publicly declare my next goal for next year, but I don't want to say that just yet. Here's the link to the Kickstarter. Well, shoot, I forgot to put that in the description of the video. When the video is done, I will put that in the description of the video so you guys can go to it. But here's the link for the live viewers, where you can bang Ballad of the Tiger. Here's the Discord. Taylor something comics. Oh, there's also the Discord. You are correct with the show. All right, so it's 12:11. I do want to plug another Kickstarter, if I can, because this gentleman sent me in Eric Mingle sent me these in. He's got a Kickstarter going for Ocho. Which I should have dropped a link for. I'll put a link in the description as well. So this is part haul, part plug for a Kickstarter. But I'll have a video on my channel showing this off here shortly. But he has been doing this mini comic called Ocho since like 1995. So for like 30 years now, he's been doing this in mini comic form. And his Kickstarter's for this trade paperback. And he also sent me, and that covers like issues... Was it 29 through 39? Yeah, 29 through 39. And then he also sent me issues 40, 39, 40, 41, sorry, and 42, I think. 40, 41, and 42. Sent me those in mini comic form. It's a cool looking comic, though. He reached out, asked if he could send me something for a review. And he also got a Kickstarter going, so everyone check that out. And then just to finish off my haul, I didn't haul much this week. Here's Josh. Oh, look at that. Both moderators sharing Ocho's Kickstarter. My favorite part right here. It's just awesome that Eric, any of these cartoonists have been doing like a mini comic for like 30 years and just on that hustle for that long is just amazing. It's really, really cool. But yeah, there's Kickstarter. Thank you, Josh and James, for sharing the Kickstarter link. If you want to check that out, I'll have a video on my channel later this week for that. 5K will be easy to pass with all this great content. Thank you, Badger Stuff. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping so, though. Thanks, everyone. I'll be celebrating my unpacking and building my new bookshelves. That's always a fun time. And then, what kind of shelf? Kenny's Geek Corner. Taylor, how much Superman or Supergirl have you read in my life? Supergirl is a little bit. Keep that on there while I talk. Supergirl, I've read the Silver Age Supergirl, which I really, really enjoyed. It was like, the way I always describe that is it's kind of like Archie comics with superheroes, because it's like a lot of teenage melodrama and stuff. And I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Otto Bender wrote a lot of those issues, and I'm a fan of his. But I think that's the only Supergirl I've read. No, that's not true. I read a little bit of the Carmine Infantino run in the late 70s, early 80s. I think that run is when that run happened. But that's it. I've not read anything more modern than that. And not for any certain reason. I would like to, especially like the Peter David run. I'd like to read. And Superman, I've read the first 20 or so issues in the Golden Age. I've read the Silver Age Omnibus, which I really loved, which I think that's kind of like my starting point with Superman. I did not care for the Golden Age stuff so much. I think the Silver Age is when his Rogues Gallery really starts kicking in, and that's when I think his comics get to be fun. The Golden Age stuff was just mostly filled with like him like fighting mobsters and stuff, and it wasn't so much fun. So I read Silver Age. I've read The Death of Superman a number of times as a kid. All-Star Superman. I love that run by Morrison and Quitely. I'm trying to think. I do want to read the Philip Kennedy Johnson omnibus. That's one of the, I don't get a lot of modern omnibuses, but that's one that I'm interested in. And I am interested in I've read the John Byrne run. I've read the first 20 or so issues of Man of Steel, the 6th issue of Man of Steel, and then the first 20 or so issues that follow. I am kind of interested in getting those omnibuses as well, but not a ton of Superman, but I have read a decent amount. And I've read like For All Seasons and his appearances throughout Frank Miller's Batman comics and Superman Year One. Like I've read a lot of those mini-series and things. If that answers your question. I got rid of my Kalax, replacing them with reinforced Billies. That's what I did. My man, I am Team Billies and I'm anti-Kalax. Even though the shelves I have behind me right now they're not Kalax, they're fake Kalax, but they are cubed. But they're smaller than Kalax. They only fit like everyone that's familiar with the Kalax shelves. You can fit like an absolute edition into it comfortably. These behind me can only fit like an omnibus into it. So that tells you how short they are. But I much prefer the way the Billies look with the longer shelves. And I was just kidding. Like if you have Kalax, I was just kidding. I'm not making fun of you. Once I get everything settled, I'll finally be able to reach Motel framed and displayed. I'll get the Roach Motel framed and displayed. I'll always add nails to my Billies. Excited to see that small piece framed. James, thank you for joining me. I really love that DC financed in the first couple years of Superman because it's so leftist and has a real raw punk energy. I suspect that fizzles as the U.S. gets further into World War II. I do agree. It does have that raw energy to it of like almost like underground type. Like that's what a lot of Golden Age comics have. That kind of like you see the medium of comics is still trying to figure itself out. And a lot of those artists are still trying to figure out the medium. But like one of my favorite Golden Age comics is Fletcher Hanks. Let me get that real fast. Oh, there's a squeak of the chair. Fletcher Hanks. This is being reprinted by Fantagraphics. I think it comes out soon, like this month or next month. And in here, he has Stardust is his main comic. Let me get to it. And it's like bizarre Golden Age comics. Like this is like amazing stuff. I love these Golden Age comics because they're like truly bizarre stuff. Like weird, like the character designs on them are weird. The morals are weird. Like if a criminal does something wrong, Stardust like will pick him up and throw him into the sun. Like they like have these like torturous deaths on him. Here's one character says "Have mercy" and his head's just flying in the air because the guy knocked his head off. This is a really cool book. They're reprinting it in paperback. This is the hardcover, but it'll have all the same contents in it. And Fletcher Hanks himself was a tortured soul, a tortured man, not the greatest guy, but in there, his son, I think it is, or his grandson, talks about him in his life and his ending of his life and stuff. But that's one of my favorite Golden Age comics for that reason, though. The kind of raw energy you're talking about. Hi, Taylor. Thank you, Dana, for joining me. Speaking of Carmine Infantino, I just scored the long out of print Silver Age Flash Volume 3, Prime Silver Age stuff. I love Silver Age Flash. Silver Age Flash is one of my favorite Silver Age comics. Flash has one of the best Rogues Gallery, and you get to meet them all throughout that run. And Carmine Infantino's artwork, like I put it up there with like it's like Kirby, Ditko, Infantino for me, like the top 3 artists of that Silver Age superheroes time period. But his art, especially in that Flash run, is amazing. That's great. Way to score that run. I still have the I have all 3 volumes. And my first volume is like the old school one with the old school dust jacket. It doesn't match volumes 2 and 3, and it always annoys me. But what can you do? I've been Team Billy since before it was cool. Thank you, Lee Hardy, for joining me. That is nuts. Yeah, the Fletcher stuff is crazy. And there's also this character in here called Phantoma, who's one of the first female protagonist Golden Age heroes. But here's just like this wild like artwork that like the figures aren't even like they're just like oddly proportioned, and I don't know. It's just wild raw energy to this comic that it's one of the Golden Age comics I tout as like one of the benefits of Golden Age comics that people don't give it enough credit is that it's pre-comics code, so they could get away with anything. So post-comics code, you won't see that guy throwing bad guys into the sun or ripping their heads off and throwing it in the air. Like that wouldn't have flown in the comics code days, but in the Golden Age, you could get away with stuff like that. So some of the Golden Age comics have not just like the EC stuff, but even like the superhero stuff will have things that wouldn't have flown during the comics code days. I'm excited for this to get the softcover reprint of that. Kind of related, I was reading the Blue Beetle DC Finest and pre-Ditko Charlton stuff. Has a PG-rated Fletcher Hanks vibe that surprised me. Yeah, I've read some of that stuff. I don't know if I have it down here. I don't think I do. Do I? No, I have a weird, like, the company is called Gwandaland. I'll spell it out in the chat here. That's how it's spelled, Gwandaland, which I guess I can highlight here. And if you look them up, I think they sell most of their stuff now through Barnes & Noble's website. So you won't find them in store, but they're on the website. They used to be on Amazon. But they're like print-on-demand reprints of old Golden Age comics that are public domain. And I don't know how they get around things. Like a lot of the titles will be named something different. So instead of like Blue Beetle, it might be Detective Beetle or something. So because they can't title it that because the name Blue Beetle is still copyright, but those comics are public domain. Apparently, I don't know how that works, but they had a reprint of it was like Ditko's early stuff. So it had like the Question, Blue Beetle, and the Atom all packaged together as far as like Ditko's comics go. So I have a trade paperback of that stuff because I was really interested in it because it's kind of like pre-Watchmen Charlton stuff. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Badger Stump, thank you. Guandanaland comics. Yeah. It really they've printed a lot of cool stuff though. They even have like the entire run of Help magazine, the Harvey Kurtzman Help magazine stuff. Which I think Bob Fish, which I don't think he's in the chat right now. He's one of my favorite TikTok YouTubers though. I think he was looking for those Help magazines but he's from Belgium, I think. Bob is. But I don't know if he ever got a hold of them from that area. And but they have a lot of cool stuff. Like they have a whole chunk of things in their catalog. One of the things I thought they were going to have were the early Captain Marvel stuff, like the early Shazam stuff. Because that's one of my most wanted reprints. They have the Monster Society of Evil. I got a reprint from Guandalana, whatever it's called. Of the Monster Society of Evil run, like the 25 issue run from Otto Bender, CC Beck. I got that from them, and I have that, which is really cool. But I need to seek out more of their stuff because they're straight like photograph scan or photographs of each comic book page. Like they're not like the highest quality of comic reprints at all. They're like a cheap reader copy kind of way of reading them. So don't expect like the super fancy Marvel DC Fantagraphics quality reprints or anything like that. But it's fun to read comics like that you haven't been reprinted anywhere else. This is the bill Frascio, Dan Garrett stuff from the 60s, which I think is weirder than this Golden Age. Yeah, I want to pick up that Blue Beetle. I want to pick up Blue Beetle and Peacemaker DC Finest. I've yet to pick up either of those volumes for that reason, because those are some older comics that I've never read that I would like to. I've only ever read Blue Beetle, a few issues here and there that Ditko did, and Peacemaker. There might be a Peacemaker issue or two. I don't know if Ditko did those or not, but yo, congrats on 4K King. Thank you. Brave and the boys. Jake is in the house. Thank you for joining me. Everyone go subscribe to his channel as well. But yes, I hit 4,000. Thank you, Jake. And don't forget, you can also pre-order Bang on PBC and get some fun benefits. So that's awesome. So on Panel Bound Comics, which you can use my promo code, Taylor Talks Comics, for 2% off. You can pre-order Bang Ballad of the Tiger, which we'll talk about when Josh is on the air here in just a few minutes. And then real quick at the end of my haul, I got volumes 4 and 5 of Hellblazer, the trade paperbacks. So I'm trying to collect Hellblazer in this format rather than the omnibuses, because I love the paper quality in these. So you have like this cheap newsprint paper to these, and I feel like it fits the pulpy nature of Hellblazer much better. But I've been reading Hellblazer, so this is my first time reading through Hellblazer. I'm only in volume 1 so far, so don't get too excited. But I was annoyed that the first volume doesn't have the covers breaking up the chapters, which is one of my biggest pet peeves with comic book collections. But I saw they fixed that since then, so I am looking for volumes 6 through 26 now for anybody that wants to help me out with that. But it's been a lot of fun. I've been having a blast reading these. I knew it was going to be up my alley anyways, but this starts off the Garth Ennis run, I think. So this will take me all the way through the Jamie Delano run. But thanks to my buddy Chris for sending me those. He bought the... Look at that. Classic DC. The DC Vertigo logo is different on the bottom there. But he had bought the new Omnibus, Volume 2 of the Jamie Delano run. So I bought these off of him, and he sent them to me. So now I'm just looking for the remaining 20 volumes or whatever. And I know some of those are way out of print, so it'll be a slow process, but I'm going to slowly track them down. It's one of those things I'm kind of hunting for. I always heard they wanted to avoid reprinting Golden Age Captain Marvel because of content, but given what they've included in the finest, I don't think that there should be a barrier anymore. Yeah, that's been the issue. There was like an omnibus that popped up in a catalog one time, or a collection of some sort, but they've avoided it, because there's some racial depictions of certain characters and things that are, they were racist back then, but they're deemed even more racist now, I guess, or maybe more poignant now, maybe whatever, but they've avoided it for that reason. But I don't know. I think it's still important to reprint those old comics and keep them in, circulation. And even he put a disclaimer at the beginning of them saying that. But I hope so. Even if it's DC Finest, I'd be fine with that. They've only reprinted like 3 volumes of Captain Marvel in DC Archives, or maybe 4. And then they did a Marvel Family Archives, and that's it. The Monster Society Evil had a really nice hardcover slipcase way back in the day in the late 80s, but that was a different publisher did that. And I'd love to have that. That might be my white whale now that I've gotten the 2001 Space Odyssey Treasury Edition. That book looks beautiful, that slipcase edition. But DC Finest, I'll be fine with that if they go that route. Publishers like Guandalana Land often assume things are public domain. A similar publisher who sells on Barnes & Noble thought they could publish Web of Horror collection. I informed them otherwise. I wonder if it was Guandalana Land that assumed they could sell it on Barnes & Noble, because they have different names too for their collections. So that's not their only publisher name. They have a few other publisher names. I wonder if it was them, though. That's interesting. I still have not got my copy of Web of Horror, though. I'm still waiting for it to be shipped. It better get here before October, because I'm going to do a review of that. Dana was the editor on that book. All right, 1 minute till I bring Josh on here. Taylor, do you think publishers don't print classic omnis on newsprint like paper because modern readers would complain, or because newsprint is more expensive than glossy paper at this point? I think the bigger reason is because it's more expensive than glossy at this point. I think anytime you see a change of paper stock in these collections, it's due to price. They're trying to keep it as cheap as possible. I wish that they would print it based on the paper that was used for that comic originally when it was printed. I wish they would be that thoughtful about it. But I think it's just a matter of what's cheaper at the time. Or Josh feels like he has the answer. So let's bring him on and have him answer live. How about that? Josh Greathouse, how you doing?
Fantastic. Yourself?
Great. So answer the question.
So, yeah, you'll never get newsprint again because it's a couple things. One, it is a cost barrier. But the bigger problem is that, this is the fun thing about it, that stuff is full of acid. Hence why the yelling of the pages. Because truthfully, it's kind of weird. The Marvel recreation are what the colors are supposed to be. That was the colors. But because of that brownish acid, it changed the color tones to it. So it's this weird, like, technically Marvel's right, but technically they're wrong. So between like and it's the kind of thing, I don't even think they make like that newsprint anymore just because of the acid. And the idea of it, it's supposed to be a trash medium, like in Japan, where you literally like read and throw away, which we no longer have.
Yeah, and that is an important note, the color thing. And I think a lot of because they made the colors such back then that they would know that this newsprint would soak it up a different way. And then when you put that same color on the glossy paper, it lays differently. I
won't lie, especially I used to do large format printing. I think it's easy to be like, oh, they cared. They used to trash these things. Like they used to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like you have a guy smoking a cigar just being like, yeah, lines up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like that's why you'll see like off-register colors and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
damn kids. Move it along.
Totally. But that's a little bit of the charm of those classic comics, I feel. It's like those little I don't know, those mistakes and things.
It definitely adds a certain texture because the weird thing is working digitally, you constantly have to add stuff to make it look not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a weird balance to everything.
But we're not here to talk about paper quality. We're here to talk about Bang, Ballad of the Tiger, your new Kickstarter. Last I checked, you're at 40%. Is it still there?
I'm still at 40, which I'm excited. It's weird because it's always this like, ooh, 40. Then it's like 2 minutes later, it's like, come on, 41.
I know. Let's bump that up, though. I'm going to share my screen and show people this off while we talk. So while I do this, Josh, give the elevator pitch for Bang Ballad of the Tiger.
Kung Fu fantasy, love letter to a lot of manga. So instead of a guy with a big sword, it's a woman with a boot.
Yes. So we're sitting at 40%. We have 39 backers, 29 days to go, though, which is exciting. So you're well ahead of pace, right?
I'm doing well. The weird thing with Kickstarter, they have what's known as a bathtub curve. I forget the official name, but like it starts off big, plateaus for a very long while. Then like at the end, it goes big again too. Like they all do this. Yeah. So it is an amazing system. I love the system, but it is a weird, like Kickstarter is it's its own weird beast.
I feel like I need to. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm trying to log in so I can see. Well, it's not letting me do it.
What are you trying to do?
Log into Kickstarter. I normally do things on my phone on Kickstarter, so it's not. Regardless, okay, so yeah, and I showed it off on my show. I did a video for it. So, how long have you been doing Bang? When did you start it?
First things first, man, that video, I don't know what the future holds for me, but that is going to be one of my favorite things. That's like one of the greatest kickoffs to a Kickstarter I've ever seen. Like, I cannot thank you enough, my man.
No problem. It's the least I could do. I love showing off. Cartoonist, you should know, it's one of my favorite videos I do. Unfortunately, it's probably my least watched videos,
right?
Because just the nature of it. But anytime I can highlight cartoonists that are, trying to get their stuff made and trying to get published and they're self-publishing things. So I've been meaning to show off Bang for months. I just haven't got to, which I apologize for. You sent it to me a long time ago, but I was happy to be able to do it to correspond with launch day.
Also, let's get fancy here because I just shared my screen.
Oh, okay.
So to answer your question, Bang was kind of a mistake. This was what I used to do a security job, which I could draw comics as long as no one was around. And they found out I could talk to people. So they're like, oh, let's put you on the AM shift. So all of a sudden it's like Sunday morning. I'm like, well, I'm too tired to work on my real comic. So let me goof around with this thing called, first it started off as character design. So this was like 2019, like right before the pandemic. It was the kind of thing I'm like, oh, I'm having a lot of fun sketching these guys. This is kind of fun sketching them. Then it turned into like, oh, let's try 5 pages. Oh, this is a lot of fun. Okay, let's do an issue. And I was part of a life drawing group at the time. And when all of them, like, all of a sudden started to go like, oh, yeah, this is like, I love what you're doing here, pointing out stuff. I'm like, y'all never give me compliments. So this clearly has some legs to it.
So this was just kind of like a side project. It wasn't even your main project at the time?
It wasn't. And then it turned into, I think the different was because, like, I have a project which I can. This is the other cool thing about being me. I can just bring these up on the fly. So, because my old one or my other main one is a comic called Unprofessional, which a lot more detailed. Problem with that is it takes a lot more time.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that insanity.
No, it's great. When's the last time you've done an Unprofessional page?
I'm still working on it. It's the kind of thing I flip-flop. The difference is, so with Bang, like, I have certain rules. 6 panel, like average 6 panels or less. Then it's like a lot less. So over here, this is the full color range for Bang. This is like my standard one. And ironically, I end up using Bang more and more because it's just easier to have that limited palette.
I love the color palette on Bang. I know I talk about colors a lot on my channel as far as like I hate modern colors because they're all muddied and you only use browns and greens and things. But you have like very distinct colors on Bang that I feel like really help make the characters pop. And it all just feels like one world. Like it feels like one lived in world. The way the palette is very like cohesive.
That's because I stole it.
Where'd you steal it from?
Dragon Ball.
The color palette?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I told you it was a love letter.
Well, that's one question I wanted to ask you. What are the inspirations you've used for what comics are you pulling from?
Because here, let me do this. So it kind of like, yeah, because if you can see like,
oh.
So what's weird is this was the official like colors, and it's like then they like went to like a full color, but I'm like, man, I love like, and you can't even get this page in the US colored like in any version. It's always black and white now. So I'm hoping Viz changes that.
What are the real quickly on that? I know they've done colored editions of Dragon Ball Z. Is that a completely different palette they use?
Yeah, well,
they have like trade paperbacks of those.
Yeah, so this like you can find these in the Viz Big. Let's not get your page flag. So the problem is like it starts off first full color, like full color, but then this is yeah. This is like it's weird. I think it's because he was Akira Toriyama. This is technically like a process red, but the technology was a little bit better, so they gave him like yellows and blues. Because he was he was one of the biggest names in manga, so it's like you're not going to tell them like, you don't get the full, you don't get the full bell and whistles.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like he was as big as like Oda is now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, because Oda's technically bigger. Like it's weird. Oda's technically bigger, but at the time, like just in Japan, yeah, Akira was huge with Dr. Slump.
Which Dr. Slump, by the way, is one of the funniest comics I've ever read. I'm hoping they bring that back into print in some sort of Viz Big or 3-in-1 type deal. I'll be all over that. So I read it all digitally.
to answer your question, like one, I pull from a lot of artists. Like Mike Mignola is always a big one. Akira Toriyama, bangs are actually from Rumiki Takahashi, like her hair. This page, this was me literally looking at a ton of Kelly Jones.
Oh wow!
And I actually just broke it off on my Patreon as well. Like even this first one was like a Robin panel, the shadowing. Like he never did. This one's kind of weird because it's definitely Kelly Jones, but I also feel like I accidentally pulled some Mobius. And then, so yeah, like also with the Kickstarter, we're covering 9 through chapter 12. I'm currently working on chapter 22. So,
yeah, because you have digital editions on your Kickstarter available to get PDF versions all the way through chapter 20.
Yeah, I feel like that to me is just more like that's going to have like none of the bells and whistles, none of the like behind the scenes pages. That's literally just like a raw PDF of chapters.
Okay. So I was going to ask that. That's my next question. Is like, do you have plans for volumes 4 and 5 ready to go since those chapters are already done?
Yes and no. I don't have like a cover or anything, but it's like I got enough of this down, so it's like it's easy to kind of put this together, keep it to 4. Honestly, and the reason I'm doing these smaller volumes, originally I was looking at doing like a traditional floppy. Those have gone, especially on Kickstarter, it's like, will be $20-$30. And it's like, it's hard to support. And I'm like, you know what? If we shrink the size a little bit, $100 or 100 pages, $15, it's like, I feel like for an indie comic, that's not a bad value.
No, I was going to ask you that too, as far as like the format choice for that reason, because you're exactly right though. Because you see a lot of Kickstarters that have like a full single issue comic that's only 24 pages, but it'll be like $15-$20 for that. And you're thinking like, as a consumer, like even though it's an independent self-published thing, so you're like, it's probably going to cost a little more because they can't print as many copies as Marvel and DC can. But still, you're comparing it to like the $3.99, $4.99 of Marvel DC on the racks. And you're like $4.99, but $20, and like, so that I like that you went a full 100 pages because then you feel like you get more, pun intended, bang for your buck with that. And I did have questions too. People reached out to me and said like, with it being a smaller format, is it hard to read? And I was like, no, not at all. And I think that's probably what you're speaking to a little bit more, or what you could speak to more. But what you're speaking to a minute ago is the limiting yourself to like 6 panels or whatnot.
The other another trick I do, which you're about to lose your mind, Taylor. So fun fact, because if you look over here, this is my raw page, right? So got the frame, got the word balloons. Also, I'm one of those crazy ones. I draw everything. So in case I need to edit, or hopefully one day if this gets translated to other languages, there's always background,
Yeah.
So it's not just like random word balloons. But then, see that slight different coloring?
Yeah.
I have a paper texture, a multiply, but since my word balloons sit above that, if you look at my page, the word balloons are pure white, where everything else is slightly like a little bit grayer. So it's easier to read because that's the only true black and white, which your eyes will immediately go to.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think the panel layouts you have as well, it's not like you're cramming in 20 panels on a small little page.
No. Well, and it's also, and I thought you would enjoy this because this isn't my first published book. So I have like a children's book that never got to see the light of day, which, man, kid trying to get a home run.
Yeah.
Especially colors on this. I slowly went to a sunset. Like it slowly gets darker and darker.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's never been published?
Never been published. You can't get this anymore. My old webcomic, The Horrific Adventures of Frankie. This is like old school, me in college, angsty, about a Frankenstein bouncer at a strip club.
Do you have any thoughts of ever reprinting that?
I might. I wouldn't mind doing like an old collection. This one, man, this is the old high school stuff. I mean, look at that. It's some classic. That's terrible awesome. Like that is so many rules. I mean, look at that lettering. Look at that lettering. Just gorgeous. The best part about this, I think it's pronounced Savant Dawn because I was an edgy teenager. This is, I believe, Norwegian for Black Death. It's Vikings.
Oh,
yeah, because that would mark it well. This one is one I always want to go back to. I never got it made. This is like a mock-up I did for myself. Scotty Odyssey. It's Calvin Hobbes meets Johnny Quest. I did like 300 of these strips.
I love both Calvin and Hobbes and Johnny Quest.
So yeah, this is, like I said, I've done a lot. I love making comics. So that's a good thing. I can tell you this much: no matter what happens with if one person or 1,000 people are reading it, I'm always going to be drawing because it's like I'm just having the time of my life. This is like the most joy I've had. Yeah,
that's one thing that I said in my review, and I think is so apparent when you're reading this. Is like I can just tell you're having fun making this comic. Like it's not for 1 minute did this seem like you're putting in like work that annoyed you, or like you're like, oh, I have to draw this page today. Like every single page seems like you're just having a blast.
To answer your question, because I did watch it. So like when I first started off, the first like issue is more just me having a little bit of fun. There were a couple things I did, like on the first panel, on the first image you technically see is one of the major characters' icons. Like no one notices it. Because here, let me just. I don't know if you can hear a poor child in the background who's never eaten a day in her life. That fun group.
Yes.
So, but then it's the kind of thing around like 2 or 3, I think, it was around then, I figured out the ending. So I have the ending in mind. I have the climax in mind. And I kind of work off of what's known as the roadmap. So the idea is like, okay, I'm doing a roadmap from Los Angeles to New York. I know, like, okay, I need to hit Vegas. I don't know what's going to happen in between. It's like, I might stop at this gas station. Stop at the world. It's like, I don't know. Because the current chapter I'm working on, I was like, cool, I need to hit this end point. This is the first time this has happened where I'm like, I don't have enough pages. Well, that's future me's problem.
Yeah. So it's like you have like these checkpoints in mind, but you have the freedom to like do everything in between based on how the pages are coming out and things.
Yeah, because like which chapter volume 3 will have and volume 4 will have the rest of the artist storyline. That was only supposed to be like 2 chapters, but it was one of those I'm like, this is getting to something a little bit better, and let's give it a little bit more room. And that's the other thing I've kind of taken from manga the most. It's like, let me give this room to breathe. Because I like to do like, hey, here's an issue. Like one of my favorites is chapter 8 because it's like them versus a monster with no eyes. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, they're set up for future stuff with the goblins going to the skeleton. Like try to do that balance.
Right. So the fight choreography I have to ask you about, because I know you pride yourself in it, and it was super apparent that you're awesome at it. Besides Toriyama, do you have any other influences in that?
I do. That's called, I actually got more books, but I'm not going to pull them out. That's just called good old-fashioned reference.
Okay.
So in Japan, they literally make they make these for every subject you can imagine. But I got a bunch for fighting. So it's literally like, let's do this one. So it's just breakdown on pages of like different angles and shots of people fighting.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah.
So literally, like there are times, and it's not always perfect because sometimes I'm like looking at gymnasts and stuff. But basically, there's a YouTube channel called Super Wolf. I forget the name of it. He does like an anime one. It's now a little bit more wrestling, but he has a whole video talking about how fight scenes are dialogues. So it's like, because like a really good fight scene, you need to have some emotional connection to. It can't just be, throwing fists.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing, it's like, okay, I try to do that because the way I treat Bang, she's Bugs Bunny. She will always end a fight, but she'll never start a fight.
Okay.
And because hi.
Oh, cat
Meet
cameo.
Abigail Buzzsaw Greathouse.
Oh.
Yeah, she's an old lady. So it's the kind of thing I try to, like I said, I try to mix them up. I try because I love action comics. I love those kind of things. And I do feel like not all of them, but it's like I do feel like a lot of comics just go into talking heads, which is fine. But at the same time, it's like you got to have really good dialogue. So to me, I'm like, it's sometimes easier to throw a punch.
That's true. I mean, yeah, work to your strengths too. Like
Super Eye Patch Wolf. That's the one. Yep. Andre's got it. That is the channel.
Oh, did he put it in there?
He can't because he's a mod. He just put the name. But yeah, because he has a great one.
Everybody can search that. I love that name, Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Because I think like he has two channels. His non like official, like his more just kind of everyday one's just Eye Patch Wolf.
Oh, he's Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Also,
go ahead.
Another one, just because I want to nerd out. Every Frame's a Painting. That one's done by a professional film editor. Unfortunately, like he's not making anymore, but it's all these essays about just film and stuff. He has one about Jackie Chan, and it's like especially, and that's another one about the whole choreographed fighting, and one with Bruce Lee as well, talking about like breaking down that. No, sorry, Super Eye Patch Wolf. It's a Bruce Lee one. The Jackie Chan one is another one for Every Frame's a Painting.
I need to look at that because I'm interested in breaking down movies like that, especially fight scenes and stuff. That's cool.
Man, it's one of my favorite channels.
John Oakley here brings up a point. Would be cool to have a finished deluxe edition. What are your thoughts on? I'm sure you've been asked this before, like a big fat bang collection, and
so it's a couple things. I would love to design that, especially all those little bells and whistles, because that is the dream. There's two problems with that. One, any deluxe edition, usually the series is done because that's how you map it out.
Right.
So it's like, man, I got things I want to. There are moments I can't wait to draw. Like, oh man, it's not the right blood. That is a spoiler. No one knows what that's about but me.
Oh.
One day you'll all hear and go, oh. The other problem is, and this is where Kickstarter gets involved, like with Marvel or DC, a big company, it's like, hey, I can wait for the super nice edition. Like Batman's going to get that. We know, Tom King. The way you get that is by supporting this version, the paperback, because it's like, hey, okay, this shows there's a market. If I get enough sales, I can go to a bigger version or a nicer version.
Right, yeah, because I mean, the only other way would be if a publisher picked it up or something, but having to support that on your own would definitely be a huge financial burden for sure. So,
honestly, the other problem with Bang, because one of those few things like a lot of publishers will put on their sites is like, hey, don't pitch us 100-chapter fantasy graphic novel. It's like, well, that's exactly what I'm doing. I
feel like a publisher would want to see they'd be more keen to look at a finished product versus someone that just has a few pages done and an idea.
I will say this, the more it's two things. With comics, everyone wants to reprint stuff. No one wants to be the original printer.
Yeah,
because there's less risk. Two, it's more from the standard. They don't want someone that's like, yeah, it's like right now I have like 20 plus issues, so I have some credibility. When I had like 3, it's like, Josh, you sound insane. Sit down, like go sit in the corner.
So have you pitched this to a publisher recently?
All of them.
Okay, I didn't know if that was something you did at the beginning and then you've slowed down, but you're always pitching it.
I pitched it I pitched it start of 2020 with with a few chapters. Then it was I think I did it again like 23. It was recent, but it was the kind of thing, it's like no feedback, so it's the kind of thing I'm like, well, and the other thing with this, especially after the art, like I kind of realize, like the irony about this, This is originally started off as designs for a Saturday morning cartoon, just me having fun. And I'm not that guy. I wish I was that guy. I would make a lot more money. But all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? With self-publishing, me doing this myself, no one can tell me no. That's the other fun thing, because it's like, it's like, I don't know, market value, blah blah blah. Like, I guarantee you, the artist, like, yeah, that's a character like you can't market it you can't like sell. He'll never sell an ad, but at the same time, it's a lot of people love that character. The Prince, the start of Volume 3. It's one of Jake's favorite characters. Like, he cannot get enough of that guy.
And there'll be that character will be in Volume 3 more?
That character is in Volume 3, and the start of the artist is in Volume 3 as well.
So that's one thing I'm excited about.
I would love like the right publisher, but for right now, it's like, hey, I got me.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love that you're ready to go for volumes 4 and 5 even. So I think as a consumer, anybody watching this, you have the confidence that you're not just going to pick up volumes 1, 2, and 3, and then it's going to die off and you're never going to see it again. He at least has enough material done already to go in the bank for 5 volumes.
Honestly, the other thing is, because I come from this school of thought, if you're on the fence, if you're like, this looks cool, this sounds cool, but money's a little tight, I'm not quite sure. If you go to my website right now, joshgreathouse.com, the first 15 chapters are up for free. Like, no strings attached. Literally anyone can read them at any point.
That's awesome. I'm going to put that link in the description of this video as well. James just posted it in here. Man, he's so fast.
I know with James, it's 2 things. He's got 1,000 tabs open. I'm also convinced he's got like folders. So he's got like one open for me. So he just knows like to copy and paste those links.
He must. I don't know. I'd love to see his system.
There was no Super Eye Patch Wolf link, I noticed, James.
Oh, yeah. Where's that, James? Razor wants to ask, what's your catchy name for a potential Bang Omni?
Man, that would be hard, because it's one, you don't want to say it and then like it goes away. 2, it's like, so Bang, when I was kind of goofing around, I'm a huge fan of old JRPGs, and in Japan, like a lot of them had characters, just they would have the name Bang as a onomatopoeia for firecracker, including Clash at Demon Head, which I never played that game, but I know of because it's Scott Pilgrim. The problem is Bang is also a way to describe a certain act. So the Bang-to-bus, I would make a lot of money.
That's true. That's true.
It's hard because I feel like there's certain ones, like, not to pick on them because I mean they do well, but yeah, the Nonibus, that was a missed opportunity. The Venibus is like a great time. There's certain ones where it's like, yeah, why don't you do this?
Yeah, Nominibus, I was really disappointed they didn't call it that. But although the subject matter for that one too, maybe you want to keep it a little bit more serious on that one.
I hear that, but then it's also they had all the heroes on the cover. It's like,
that's true. Yeah, that's a weird cover. I'm glad that's the DM because I like that the standard is much more in case it runs out. Because I haven't ordered mine yet, my copy. So the standard one's definitely the cover to get.
I ordered mine. Also, a little housekeeping too. Chris was right about the critic, because that's an old joke with him being like, he had a standee that would go, buy my book. Buy my book.
It's been so long since I watched that show.
And also, you weren't there for this. The Roach Motel is the name of that X-Men piece I did for Heroes Con, that giant.
Oh, that was an amazing piece, by the way.
Thank you. Because, yeah, Razor's the one. Because he's like, yeah, I'm going after it. I won't lie. I was like, oh, okay. A lot of people, I was like, all right. All of a sudden, at the end, his hand was still up. I'm like, Razor.
Did Razor buy it?
Yeah, Razor owns the original.
Oh, okay. I know you posted like the winner, and you said like, I'm glad it went to a good person. I didn't realize that was Razor.
That is Razor. So
that's amazing.
Here's the thing: he introduced himself with his legal real name, but I'm like, it's not as cool as Razor. So,
or Razor Ramen. Yeah, you got to go with that. Oh, Harvey says Ultra Bang Bus compilation. Oh yeah, having Bang-a-bus. You have Bang Bus in the same date.
I can tell you this much: Bang.com will never be associated with my comic.
Oh, that's funny because we have a local. I don't know if they're a chain. Maybe they are. But Hotbox Pizza. Do you have those in your area?
No, I know of them, but we don't have them.
And I remember looking for, the first time I went on the website to order pizza. I typed in hotbox.com and it was not pizza.
Yeah, the other fun thing. So originally the comic was just called Bang. I put out like the first like 3 pages or something. The next day, Dark Horse releases their comic Bang, which is a mini series. And the problem was I'm like, legally I'm in the right, but Dark Horse is a lot bigger. You know, I'm like, I'm not. Who's going to believe me? So for like a month, I was trying to think of a new title, especially because like the way my brain works, I'm like, okay, don't think of Dragon Quest. Don't think of Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, like that. So finally, like I remembered the word ballad, and I was like, well, okay. Like this is an homage to Dragon Ball, which is an homage to Journey to the West, which is one of the 4 classic Chinese myths. And in China, the opposite of a dragon is a tiger.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say ballad. I was like, oh, what?
No, it's a
tiger. Okay.
I don't know why dragons and tigers always fight in like Chinese paintings. Like, so I was like, there you go.
That's awesome. I like to hear the origin of that. So I want to hear the breakdown for your process. Do you work full script or do you add in the dialogue and things afterwards?
Here we go. So let's do this. I work off of OneNote mainly just because it separates pages, but it's the kind of thing like some of the panels will be as quick as like she kicks the Erd. Let's see. Where? This would be a good one. So this is like me showing an example of like, you know, reminding me like, here's the page. This one's for the page layout I'm looking for.
Okay.
Usually it's like a sentence or two. Actually, there, like most of the time, and the way I'll do it's like I'll separate the dialogue underneath it a bit. So it's just a quick, it's more of a reminder, but the way I work is like I daydream a lot. So it's the kind of thing, it's like, okay, especially like with the goblins, I was like, well, that's tradition, you know, that's everyone's got goblins. So how can I make this different? And like, not to spoil anything, but what I love it, there's one line where all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, we didn't realize we did this. So it's the kind of thing I try to turn stuff on its head. Well, same thing with like, this one's a slight spoiler. Chapter 2, we have like some bandits attack her, but then it's Yasmin comes and saves her, but it's like, no, I'm here to attack. Like, I'm here to fight you as well. So it's like, okay, how do I take a moment? Like, what's something that's interesting, not been done? So I'll play that through my head a bunch. And then, yeah, like when I first started, like after I finish a chapter, I'll come and write like the whole thing. And then let's open. Actually, we already saw this page. So this is from chapter 22. The way I start, actually, well, I can do this as well. Oh, wait a minute. No, am I? Oh, well. Enjoy this. Well, yeah. Let's do this. Sorry.
You're fine.
Just in case you want to put, I hate like just destroying this out of the ethos.
Oh no, you don't want to. No.
Yeah, I figured. Like to me, I'm like, I could do another one, but let's see. Quick save 2025. Anyway, where are you? Bang page. Okay, so I have this template made for Bang.
Okay.
And the first thing I'll do is literally just slice up panels. And what's nice with Clip is this is like my own layering, like own measurements, but the panels is always the same. I'd never do like I can do one. I also steal from Frank Miller, The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
So every first page and last panel, or first panel and last panel, extends to the edge of the screen. So like here's a little cheating because I did both. It just works a little better. But like if you look at each page, it always goes full bleed.
That's something I'm gonna make note of now. I don't even know if I noticed that in Dark Knight. And I've read that comic 100 times.
what's interesting is it ends up reading quicker because you're literally flowing through the art.
Wow.
It drives my printers nuts because they're like, you're gonna lose. I'm like, yeah. Then I'll do the pencils. So, and the way I started off with, let's bring back Taylor. So if you watch at the beginning, and I do this for the whole process. I have this big chunky pencil, this horse big, and I always use like this color, and it's me just like just mapping out like basic shapes. Then I'll use this rough pencil, and I'll do this finer. This is this line, like this finer line here, and I always merge them. Then I'll do like the last one's this. So basically, it's like I'm almost treating this like tracing paper.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like for the backgrounds, I'll always kind of keep it that rough one because it's like, okay, I want to do a little bit more inking, planning it out. And it's the kind of thing like typically I use the blues. Sometimes I'll use like a red or something just to make it like, okay, it's easier for me to see the difference between the two. Pick like a random like 49 or whatever, ink it. And inking it's the kind of thing I honestly don't try to use Control Z that often. I try to erase or like plan out my lines a little bit better. And then with this one, it's a lot of like selecting different textures, kind of background stuff, zip-a-tone for this to make the page. Then the process that always takes longer than it should, yield coloring, which is me just going through here. Because even to get like this purple, it's a mixture of like the reds and blues.
Yeah.
And the way I do it, so I started doing it with this, and it's now become my process. You can pick like with the slider, you can pick whatever, 100, whatever number. With colors now, I'll do it in sections of 25, so 75, 50, or 25. So it's the kind of thing I'm like, okay, this is a little too much. Let's go to like I use 50 a lot of times, but by having those hard rules, all of a sudden I have to make choices instead of just being like, ooh, this is willy-nilly. It's like, this is how I feel. It's like, no, let me make a choice.
I like your colors because one thing I always talk about too is like over modeling on colors. And so like you have like shadows and things happening on her face, on Bang's face there, but her hair is still like a flat color. And I feel like that distinguishes like the kind of like 3D effect to it rather than over modeling everything like that. I think it's good to keep some colors flat like that.
Honestly, I keep most of Bang, I would say like 90% of it's flat just because it's easier to do.
Yeah.
And this the one? Yeah, that's the one. I use shadow more for like dramatic effects, like for moments like, when I
know where you have like the close in of her face there to get like emotion and things.
Yep. Now to Razor's point, is there anything I ever regret? Oh man, artist me hates writer me because writer me is a jerk.
It's like the process you hear of like writers writing, oh, and then they fight in the zoo with all these animals that run loose, and the artist is like, what did you just tell me to draw? But you're doing it to yourself.
So, and here's the thing. This is later on with the harpies. One, this is two biker gangs fighting each other. Two, I'm insane. I don't draw like the same figure twice. I mean, look at that. Look at that guy.
Could you drop the color from that page real fast?
I could.
I'm just curious what it would look like black and white.
Okay.
Interesting.
This one's one of the rarities where there's a ton of color. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I know I said in my video it'd be cool to see like a manga black and white edition, but you'd have to redo some stuff still in the art.
So I stole this is a modified thing from Dragon Ball because it's I use speed lines, but I'll use the blue underneath it to like highlight speed. So like each one of these it will go from like a black to like a light blue.
Right.
So yeah, this is because you can tell this is a page when it's like Bang is her own color over here because this one took weeks. Like,
yeah, because she's in the foreground, so you want to have her look different than everybody else to stand out.
That and just easily get to her colors, like
right.
But no, this whole sequence, some of the especially I don't do a lot of double page spreads, but this one kind of have to. But yeah,
I love the last page you showed. Here's a good example of Josh's ability to draw Bang in all these different poses and make it like flow beautifully and like look different. Like you have such a, I feel like a lot of, especially cartoonists that are self-published and things, they struggle with that. They struggle with having the same character and being able to draw them from different angles and different poses and things. But I think that's like one of your strengths in Bang, to make it seem like it's very differentiated. It makes the story flow better too.
I think it's a mixture of like, it's me having fun. I know this pose right here is like from Batman or something. It was one of those, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to handle this. Because it's like, I like with Bang, because it's like, she's looking confident. It's like, no, not really.
Yeah. I was going to ask, when you said you had a panel that was Mobius inspired, was that from the Mobius Batman picture that he drew?
You know, like I said, it wasn't planned to, but I think like it reminds me of that. I'm like,
yeah, the way the cape drapes over the hillside right there.
Because this is fun fact, y'all are getting a free preview from my Patreon.
Oh, hey, and I James dropped that Patreon link in the chat. I'll drop it in the description after the video.
Because literally, it was me looking at the Kelly Jones Gallery edition.
But
like, I stole that background from this issue because he lightens up the lines.
Yeah.
And then it was a mixture of like just how the cape flowed. Like I said, there wasn't like a particular one for that. Oh yeah, because like I said, panel 1. I mean,
okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at. I mean, just
that's I don't have any qualms with that at all. I actually like that kind of stuff.
It's a mixture. It's two things. It keeps it fun for me, but it's also, I'll look at people because they even hear like, I'll look at Toth, and there are times where I'm like, oh, that's how they solve this problem.
Yeah. And then you like kind of learn through the one thing. Did you know Frank Miller was one of the first people in DC to figure out how to do full bleed pages? Have you heard that story before?
I haven't.
Yeah. So when he was working with DC and Jeanette Kahn and them, he was like, why can't we do full bleed? Because there's no full bleed back then. And he found out that it was really because they had this one camera that photographed their pages before they, went to the printers and things. And if you bought just like a $100 part for that camera, you could do a full bleed all of a sudden.
That's probably why Dark Knight, like I said, the beginning of each one has that full spread, like full bleed.
Yeah, that makes you think of that but it's just so funny that in comics, these industries that were selling comics for decades, Frank Miller found out that he could buy this $100 part and figure out how to do full bleed all of a sudden. And the industry was forever changed because full bleed became so popular after that. And
yeah, because I get like, and I love some of the old Image stuff too, but man, that became such a trap where everyone's like, because it's like in some ways it's like, well, and yeah, I won't mention names. There's current artists who still like, there was one artist, he mentioned how he has a buyer who buys like nautical stuff from him. So anytime I'm reading one of his books, there'll be like a random whale or something. I'm like, nah, it's for that seller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in it, like Image, like how they'd have like full shots of figures and things because those pages would sell more.
Yeah, because I remember, because my mentor Stelfreeze, he would talk about, like he was doing a Oracle story, and he's like, man, I could add a 0 to these pages by drawing Batman because Batman's in the script. But he ended up making Batman a silhouette because it's like, this isn't his moment. It's Barbara's moment because it's her in the hospital bed.
Is that something that you think about as an artist, is the fact that you work digitally so you don't have like original art pages to sell?
A little bit. It's also like, one, I have a cat. Two, I don't know if I'm not Walter Simonson, like, because it's the kind of thing, even if I did like this page, because let me get the pencils out. Like there would be, I don't know if there would be like one clean, it's like, it's like there would be a bunch of tracing paper. Ugh. Sorry, computer. But it's like I can work anywhere at any time. Like I can stop this at any time. So that's the other thing I love about traditional or about digital. Because like just having that way, there's certain things like even if I I still try to maintain a lot of my traditional skills. I don't know if I would ever do comics traditionally, maybe like inking them, but it's like not having to rule out panel borders is such a huge thing.
Oh yeah, it's a time saver for sure. I bet.
Also, if you want to see some production art, that's how I do double page spreads. It's with those two colors.
Okay.
It's split down the middle. So with clip, I can easily just crop them.
How do you solve the problem of gutter loss?
You plan for it.
Yeah, because this is one of your double page spreads. You can see on the bottom of the monitor there.
Because
in volume 2,
it's two things. One, let me bring up Yield Guide, because these are custom made guides I made. So you got No Man's Land here, which let's I never use this color. Where are you? No layer, come on. Yeah, let's make a new layer. So you got No Man's Layer here. Basically, this is going to get cut out. So it's like you don't want to have anything important here. I also know, because the way I do my double page spreads, it's like, okay, there will be stuff here, but the important thing is always on one side. Because even with that one with the goblin, Bang's on this side, the goblin's on this side. No, like there's fire in the middle. So part of it's knowing the limitations and planning for it to make it look like it's faking that it's like, I've always been this good. It's like, no, I just know the limitations of.
Yeah.
Because
it's the format too. Because one thing I said, I was reading Hellblazer, and I noticed that they clearly, the artist, I think John Ridgway was the artist at the time, was planning the art for single issues, because he has these double page spreads where there'll be a panel literally in the gutter to make sure that your eye is drawing you all the way across the page rather than across this page down here and then top of the next page. But like that gutter, when in the trade paperback, there's no way to not have gutter loss. Like there's no way that it's not an error on DC's part, but literally the panel will be stuck in the gutter and you can't even read what's happening, and your eyes are all confused. So you're able to plan ahead because you know the format that this will be presented in. So
fun fact, originally I planned this to be single issues, because each had the this was more for like the collected edition, chapter blah blah blah, because it would say Bang or whatever, right?
This would be like the cover ostensibly, right? If it was single issue. Yeah.
But with I always included this page because the idea was this is where you would put, because I think I sold this from Hellboy, but it's like this is where you'd put the all the boring written by
the indicia. Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing, it's like, because all my chapters are 24 pages. Well, they're technically 23, but you need that last one. So I'm like, well, let's just add this cool little, I think it's a nice little touch where it's like, you kind of get a hint at what's coming in the next chapter. Mm-hmm. So it's like I said, it's knowing the limitations.
Yeah, knowing the format you're working with and thinking ahead, but awesome. One thing I do want to take people through the different tiers they can order this through on Kickstarter. So I'm going to drop your screen off. Hold on.
I was about to bring that up.
Oh yeah, you can bring it up. Okay, never mind. I'll let Josh take you through it then. Let's go.
Oh, it's like, let me do this. Like I have.
Perfect.
There you are. Taylor, I had to make all these.
I know, this is what I used for my my video. All right, so you have a $5 single PDF of just volume 1 in PDF form. $10 bundle for PDF. You can get all 3 volumes, the first 3 volumes, chapters 1 through 12, because there are 4 chapters per book. Each book is 100 pages. And like Josh said, each chapter is basically 24 pages. So it's like 4 single issues in a small trade paperback. And then $20 reader PDF for the first 20 chapters. So that's we'll make up the first 5 volumes. Then you get $15 physical copy of volume 3 and a volume 3 PDF. I know that's a hang up with a lot of people that back things on Kickstarter, is when the PDF doesn't come free with the physical copy. But I noticed you did that, so that's good.
There's 2 things. One, I even tried a price point because it's like I've had hard financial times, or if you're like, I don't know if I want to. I want to give this a try. It's like the 5 to 10. You know, I try to keep like the PDFs lower because I've noticed that too, where some of these PDFs now are like $40.
Yeah, and it's good for international readers too because shipping is hell, especially nowadays. But I know a lot of international people that read comics. I'm in some chats with them, and they're always like, "Man, I'd like to back the Kickstarter, but shipping is outrageous." So they always like PDF options. And then for $20, you can get the 3rd volume and PDFs of volumes 1, 2, 3. Volume 1 and 2 physical copies and PDFs for $25. And if you want to get, go ahead.
I didn't include this, but because I added a couple other tiers, 2 and 3, you can get volumes 2 and 3 for $25 as well.
Okay, so if you already have volume 1,
yep. And one guy, literally, if you want something, I can make it. Because one guy's like, "Hey, I want to buy 2 volumes of volume 3." I'm like, "All right, let me make that tier." Just keep track. So it's literally like
some Kickstarters have like add-ons.
Yeah, there's all that, but I'm like, that's scary and new.
Oh yeah. And then $40. This is where you get the best bang for your buck, pun intended. Volumes 1, 2, and 3 physical editions and PDFs for $40. So normally these are cover price $15. It'd be $45 if you do the math. Save a little bit on that to get all 3 if you've never read Bang before.
It's like 2 Marvel current series. I mean, no one goes up to 12 anymore.
Oh yeah. And then head sketch. Now that head sketch, is that inside the book?
This will be outside the book. I'll do a signature, like a very quick remark. This one is technically in the book just because it was a nice, like I like how that like head sketch was.
Okay, I was going to ask you that because I didn't know, because I know you're nice enough to give me some nice sketches of mine. I didn't know if that's where, because you have that spot in the back of the book for that reason. And then retailer copies will be 5 volume 1s, 3 volume 2s, 2 volume 3s for $75. If you're a retailer and you want to support a self-published venture, which I love when I go to comic book shops. Because one of my favorite things to do is to go to comic book shops. Whenever we go on vacation or something, I always try to find shops around where we are. And I love when I see self-published stuff inside a comic book shop. That's when you know it's a good one.
And I know because like I've sold this, like a shop in Alaska has a couple of these, but it's this kind of thing. They're like, "Oh man, we always need volume 1s." It's like it's rare to like sell the other ones, but it's always like we need more volume 1s. Like that makes sense.
And then for $150, you get a nice full color watercolor sketch, 11 by 15. Is that what size was the Roach Motel? X-Men
giant.
It's bigger than 11 by 15.
Oh yeah, that was literally that was an illustration board. Like that was the size of my desk. Like that was the problem because Razor bought it. He never walked up to look at it. He thought it was like 11 by 17. It's like, no, that's in feet.
That's amazing. So $150 sketch is an option there as well.
And some of those have actually been claimed, which I'm happy to see.
That's really awesome. I'm trying to refresh the Kickstarter.
Hey, got a sale.
One more backer. Way to go, guys. I don't know if that's from this or not, or if it's some person not even watching this.
John Oakley. That name sounds familiar.
Oh, John, I think that was in the chat.
Yeah. Wait, John, wait a minute. Yeah, John Oakley. John Oakley. Thanks, John.
Hey.
Yeah, I just backed all 3.
Awesome. Way to go, John. Anybody else in the chat, you can support Josh through one of those tiers. Much appreciated. And he's got 28 days to go. Oh, I was going to say it just said 29 when we started this interview. Have we been talking that long?
It's
because you launched it midday.
12:40 is when it officially ends.
I was freaking out. I was like, whoa, has this been going on for a whole day? No. 28 days to go. So check that out. Let me look in the chat and see if there's any other questions for Josh here before we let him go. Oh, John Oakley said it. I backed all 3 right there.
Yeah.
Awesome, John. Way to go. Oh, Brave and the Boys. The PBC orders are an alternative that will help support Josh separately from the Kickstarter. So Kickstarter doesn't take a fee. We are offering some separate benefits. What are those separate benefits?
With the panel bound, because I'm so used to saying OPB, with the panel bound, you can also get additional 10% off with the DC or Image right now. Now, it's a couple things. I feel like the panel bound, it's like if you don't trust Kickstarter, go through them. I will say we do. The Kickstarter are kind of like the floppy buyers. We need those Kickstarter, like,
Yeah.
I hit that Kickstarter goal to make the panel bound. But anyone who's like, and here's the thing, if you have no cash, because I've been there before too, where it's like, oh man, like things are way too tight right now. Sharing it, like, I cannot tell you how much, like, sharing it me, especially, I have to keep beating the drum, but the problem is I'm only one guy. I will end up doing the same. It's just patterns. Like, you'll end up doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyone, I guarantee you, anyone who will share, you will share to an audience that will never, like, I will never have gotten to, so it's the kind of thing, just sharing this post can make a world of difference. And it just takes a couple minutes. And any support I get from this, I appreciate so much, because this is my dream.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I always say. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a little bit of your time. Just take that Kickstarter link on your social media and just share it and say, like, hey, I saw this guy talk about this awesome comic. Here's a way to back it if you want to support. And you'll, exactly what Josh has said, reach other audience members that Josh hasn't tapped into just yet.
Well, and it's also like the start of this, you showing off that crazy book. I've seen that Skeleton Woman 1,000 times. Never picked it up because I'm like, what is this? Listen to Taylor talk to it. I'm like, God, now I want to read this.
Yeah, exactly. That's all social media marketing is like impressions. The number of times you have to hear someone, like, this is a whole other tangent, but like, I have to appear on Omar's show. Like, you feel like I should appear on Omar's show and I'm going to get all these viewers all of a sudden. It doesn't work that way. But if I appear on Omar's show like 10 times, finally people will be like, okay, I'll subscribe to this guy's YouTube channel or whatever. So it's definitely impressions. The number of times that we get people to look at Bang and think about it, because they might see it in passing and be like, oh yeah, and then they forget about it. They see it again the next day, like, oh, that's the thing I wanted to back.
And we've had this conversation too, because there's independent self-publishing. It's like, I don't have a marketing budget, because like a lot of Kickstarters, you got enough. It's like, yeah, I can buy ads, because like Transformers, you saw those ads like for a month. I saw those ads.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I said, it's like, I got to go grassroots, which, you get more unique and a heartfelt opportunities, which I appreciate. So
definitely. Yeah. Marketing is, I feel like, probably the hardest thing to do with a lot of self-published cartoonists, because it's like a whole new skill you have to learn. Like, marketing is things that people go to college for 4 years to learn, and you're just trying to make this cool comic and get it out to people, and you have to also learn this marketing thing to get it in front of people even.
Well, I think the other hard thing is, especially in comics, a lot of people get attached to a character, which makes sense. It's like, hey, I love Nightwing. It's like, Nightwing's my guy. So it's like, hey, I got a comic. It's like, yeah, but that's not Nightwing.
Right.
Like, who? Yeah. So it's like, why should I give this a chance? Hence why, like I said, with the free chapter, because I will say this, if you have a slight interest, the barrier of entry, like, I made it as easy as possible. I'm like, yeah, go to the site, enjoy it for free.
Sorry, Josh, I only buy indie comics from publishers with giant marketing budgets.
See, here's the problem. I am 90% sure Harvey's Picard Ghost is on my Kickstarter. I don't know his real name, so it's like...
I can tell you that he was just joking when he said that.
Oh,
I don't know if he backed a Kickstarter or not, but I know he's kidding about that.
Gasp! No, he seems like this corporate shill.
Harvey, I don't know there's anybody on the internet I've ever met that supports more directly from the cartoonist self-published ventures than him.
Especially,
and even on top of that, he'll buy multiple copies and send them out to people that he thinks would dig the comic.
And actually, I have one guy right now back in the retail. He doesn't have a shop. That's his plan. He's like, I just want to give this out to as many people. I'm like,
that again, that's grassroots word of mouth, right? Like, if you get a friend to hand this to you for free and you try it out, and you're like, this is cool. They might end up turning into customers for volumes 4 and 5.
And like, I joke with the DC, it's like, yeah, clearly they didn't, like, I think this is like more manga / paperback novels, because paperback novels are always this size as well. And it's like, I'm honestly hoping, I would love to see Marvel and especially Image to do this size. And I would love to see this in a grocery store.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I know Image has started doing that with Saga and Invincible. They have those smaller formats for those books. But I agree. I think it's a great format for that. It also reminds me of like something I've been trying to read some prose and trying to go outside of comics. I know it's like tragic, but one thing I've been kind of like going towards is like those old pulpy like paperback dime paperback novels like Richard Stark and even like Doc Savage, like those kinds of things. Kind of reminds me of that too.
And like I said, it was me, especially because like these first 2 volumes, it was me out of pocket doing this. So I'm like, okay, what's something I can afford, but also I feel comfortable enough selling at a good, like it's a good product. Like I have no problem showing this off. And especially like not so much this crowd, but like a lot of, comic book YouTube, it's like, oh, we want the big, nice hardcovers, which we all, the giant Taschen. And it's like, yeah, it takes a lot of work to get there. Like it takes a lot of volumes to get there.
Absolutely. And I always say that the comic should fit the format. Not every comic needs to be 11 by 15 or whatever. Like some comics, I feel like Bang fits perfectly in this format. I wasn't reading this. I was reading this sometimes in some pages. I'd like to see that a little bit bigger, but it wasn't reading like I was like, man, this is too small. I don't like this. Like this fits this format just fine. I could tell that you made it for this format.
Well, and the other fun thing, since I've showed everything else off, these pages are always. Let's do this. Do this page this time. So these pages are always 5x7. Slightly off, but I do it in 600 DPI or dots per inches. Standard print is 300, so I technically can double these to 10 by 14.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. 1 second. Oh, wait a minute. There you are. 1 second.
Okay. Well, Josh is I don't know what he's doing, but make sure to back his Kickstarter. Razor Ramen says pros, who has time for that? I know. It's just something I'm trying to sprinkle into my reading a little bit. All right, Josh is back. Look at that. That was fast.
So I completely forgot. I was going to show you these. These are artist editions put out through Boom Comics. You want to...
Of what comic, though?
Damon.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the cool thing. That's some great-looking pages, right?
Yeah.
Some cool-looking art. Especially underneath, they have all the, like, dialogue between the writer and the artist. But this was all done in clip. This is all done traditionally.
Okay.
So you can still make, like, really cool artists. Like, the only difference is, yeah, you're not going to have the old paste stubs. But,
right.
Like I said, you saw my pencils.
Yeah, you still have the different layers. And you even show, like, the page. I like sometimes on that, you'll see those in collected editions where they have, like, the pencils, the inks, and then the colors, like, side by side, like in 3 different pages, so you can kind of see the progression of it.
Honestly, too, the Kelly Jones one, they had some of the color guides. And I'm like, I don't know if I need like a full issue, but I'm like, I kind of wish more artist editions had like showing that, like, hey, this is what it looks like.
All that kind of process stuff I like to soak up in.
Yeah, the other thing that killed me, these were like $15 back in the day.
That's crazy. Is it paperback? Like flexi cover?
Yeah, it's paperback. I'm sorry. This was $10.
Oh. It's kind of wild.
Yep.
It's a cool little format.
They only made like 2 of these. Like they've done this for Klaus and a couple others, but I'm sorry, yeah, these were 15. 10 in the UK. Interesting.
I know they just released the Absolute Superman issue 1 in a black and white edition in the big format. I wish it was in an artist type edition, but it was just a black and white inks and artwork. It wasn't. You didn't get to see the full Frank Quitely process in there. Yeah,
because this is technically Boom's pen and ink style is the name of this.
Okay.
Because Scott Dumbier owns the trademark for artist edition.
He does, which is amazing. I love that he got that. I think Fantagraphics actually had to change the name. I'm assuming this is what they did, because the first Atlas edition of the the full big books they did for Joe Maneely was called Artist Edition, even though it's just a compilation of comics. It's not. There's no original art in it. And then the second volume with Al Williamson, they called it like Creator Edition or something. I don't know. They changed the name of it.
Which that one, like the only one that drives me nuts is when like Dark Horse omnibuses are always the paperback because the libraries are the nice. Like you have to know some of this, but yeah, I get with Scott. It's like no, that makes sense. You have to protect that asset.
Yeah, I mean, he invented the format basically.
But yeah, to answer Harvey, no, it's the kind of thing I've definitely thought about, like various things. Because yeah, honestly, I would love to be on here being like, man, I cannot wait to publish this 5-pound book that's going to be stored in this warehouse. That's not my apartment.
Yeah, definitely want a distributor for that, because that's the part that people don't think about too, is that all these orders are going to come in and Josh has to package them all and ship them all out himself. So just say even getting that huge box of volumes of Bang is going to be cumbersome. But again, you have to be a marketer, you have to be a distributor, you have to do the whole thing, the whole shebang. Also, Frank Whiteley put out an art book, but it's digest size. I'll never understand what the F he was thinking. Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
You know what, though? And I could get a ton of these. Back in Yield Day, artists would make like ash cans, especially like 11 by 17s that were folded in half. And like, I really miss going to conventions and getting those. And like I miss out. Mike Mignola had a bunch of legal page size fold in half, so it was like slightly bigger format.
Interesting,
because it was the kind of thing they would go to Kinko's, they would go to like the local printer. It would cost like the fans $15. It was a great system.
I know the Image was doing Ashcan editions, but those were like published to the distributor and things back in the day, of like little previews for the comics.
Yeah, what happened was, it's kind of a melding of that and fanzines, where it's just artists being like, okay, let me put out like a small artist edition for myself, or not, or like a small. Because man, you can have me back on, because I have a ton of like Adam Hughes. There was one, Eric Canetti did one. I think he was in France. It's just a collection of all these drawings he did in a day, and they're all just black and white pen drawings.
I do like when artists will release like sketchbooks and things of like all the commissions they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. It annoys me when I ever see people say like you shouldn't reprint commissions. They're supposed to be like one thing or whatever, but like that's stupid to me. I like to see these artists working with these other characters they don't normally see. Normally, like when you get commissions, people are like, "Draw me Batman" or whatever. So,
because Essential Sequential, the guy who started that, he literally had a scanner in the booth. So he'd be scanning original pages while everyone else is like, he was the one who started like kept all the commissions, because a lot of times, commissions would just go into the wind, like no one would take a photo or anything.
Especially at conventions, I assume too. Yeah, they're just done and then handed out. Well, Josh, is there anything else you want to say before get you out of here?
Wasn't this only supposed to be a 20-minute chat?
It was, but we kept going and I was having fun, so it's just fun by me.
I appreciate, like, I cannot thank you enough for all the support, especially this week, man. It's been mind-blowing. I'm really hoping we can get you to like 10, 50K. I feel like this is the channel that shows off all the cool comics that artists likes, because it's like, this is the gems that like artists knows.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I think it's probably more because I am more of an art-centric reader than story. I always tell people that, like, that seems to be like a conversation with comic book fans. Like, do you go for more story or art? And art's always my thing. Like, I can do with an okay story if the art looks really cool. But if the story is like, I don't care how good the story is. If the art's like boring or generic or lame, like I can't get into it.
But I also feel like, because man, you love underground. Like, you love a lot of different styles.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. That's one of the best compliments I ever get. I think Omnidog was the first person that told me that. Was like, I had like the most eclectic taste of a comic book reader he knows, which was huge coming from him, because I feel like he has an eclectic taste as far as like just his experience of reading, because he was reading undergrounds when they were coming out, as well as Dark Knight Returns when it came out and things. And
especially he probably was at the old head shops.
Yeah, which I always try to ask him stories about that, and he seems a little hush hush about that. I wonder why. No.
But thank you again. Thank you to everyone who's supported this Kickstarter. We're off to a fantastic start. So I'm really, I feel like, knock on wood, we have a good chance of meeting the goal.
Oh, we're going to. Absolutely. We're gonna get there. What do you say? You're 40%, 41% now, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're 59% more. I'll be talking about it on my channel every week, trying to while it's going, and some other stuff. But thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. You're the first cartoonist I've had on my show, so you always have that little trivia fact to your name. But yeah, just keep drawing awesome comics, man.
Like I said, no matter what, that's something I will always do. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. So that is Josh Greathouse. Great having him on. Everybody back his Kickstarter if you can. Oh, Harvey's got a question here about Simon Hanselman. Did you see the news? Simon Hanselman's going to start publishing Meg's Coven in the next few weeks for free on IG. I did see that. Simon had that awesome post yesterday was showing off all the original art of the upcoming single issue that Simon's doing. And then, yeah, he said he's doing Meg's Coven, which is if you're a fan of Megan Mogg, you've been waiting for Meg's Coven. He's been teasing this since, I think, 2019 or even before that. I think Meg's Coven was teased before that. But Bad Gateway was the last in continuity story of Megan Mogg, if you will. The beautiful hardcover, and Meg's Coven is the follow-up to that. So yeah, and he's going to serialize that on Instagram for free, and then he'll be getting a print edition a few years from now, whenever it's finished. That's super exciting. The Harvey, I still need to pick up the most recent single issue that Simon released. So I've been wanting to pick up the this current series that Simon's working on in singles. I've only ever collected Simon's work through Fantagraphics, and then Harvey, you sent me one of the single issues. I needed to catch up on some of the other ones because it'd be cool to have those print editions. That Guest was amazing. Guest. So it'd be cool to support Simon and read his self-published things before they come out into a print edition. I'm assuming that they'll be collected one day. What single issue do you have? I'll have to get back to you on that one. It's the one that you'd sent me with the Devil's Grin stuff. I could probably find it. If I go on his website, I could tell you which cover it is. Because it's over there and with my single issues, but it's going to take me a minute to get through. I don't want to go through, take all the time fishing through my singles. No, that's Secret Headquarters. That's not it. What's Simon? Is it Big Cartel? How about I just go to Instagram? But Megan Mogg is awesome. It's I always tell people it's my favorite stoner comic that's out right now. So if you think like stoner movies, like Cheech and Chong and Bill and Ted, but way better than those. It's like a modern day underground with some anthropomorphic characters and things. Okay. Simon Hanselman. Linktree. Buy zines and mailing list. Oh, it's just meganmog.com. Okay. There it is. The one I have is it issue number 1? It might be number 1. Yeah, I have issue number 1. You will own nothing and be happy series. It's issue 1 for sure. Yeah, I have that one. So I still need to pick up 2, 3, and 4. Because 4 is the most recent one that came out. Which, why don't I show this on my screen to let people know? Boom. So yeah, it's meganmog.com. And so issue 4 is the far left one there. You will own nothing and be happy. $11. It's still on sale. And then a mini comic of Boys in Prison. It's still on sale as well for $8. And then Lingerie Witches, You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy. Issue number 1, 2, and 3 are all sold out. But I'm pretty sure Simon said he's going to bring those back to print whenever he gets a chance. Yeah, but Megamog, I need to do a video on Megamog, actually. Simon, Nate, and Josh all put out comics with belly bands. I dig it. Oh, yes. It's a cool little added production to it. Just the first one? Yeah, I had the first one. Megamog.com. Yeah. I need to do a video on Megan Mogg, though, because I have every Fantagraphics collection of Megan Mogg I own. It's the self-published stuff that I don't. But that's usually what Simon does, which is great. He self-publishes his single issues or mini comics or things, and then he'll compile them into a hardcover paperback edition for print with Fantagraphics. And then also he's been serializing things on Instagram, which I think started with Crisis Zone. During the pandemic, 2020, during that year, he put the Megan Mogg characters through the pandemic themselves. So on Instagram, you're able to follow the characters as they're going through the pandemic in real time. And that was put together in a paperback called Crisis Zone, which is fun. That's one thing I don't have. The Mansion Press art book. That's one thing because Mansion Press is a cool publisher, and I've been wanting to put an order in with them to get that. I don't know if that's out of print now or not. The only Mansion Press stuff I own, I think, is the slipcase edition of the Josh Simmons Batman book, the bootleg Batman book. And I think I might have a Johnny Ryan thing or two. But Mansion Press is really cool as a publisher. All right, I'm going to get out of here, though. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I know there's some news topics I put in the description of things that we didn't get to, like Marc Maron's graphic novel that Box Brown's going to be doing the artwork on about the WTF podcast. And then Raina Talgemeier's having like a memoir / art book, process book coming out too. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. And then the awards, there's the American Manga Awards 2025 that'll be announced at NYCC, and the Ignatz Awards. I wanted to go through the nominations for those. But I'll go over those next week. It won't be too late by then. Yes, Josh talks a lot. No, it's great having Josh on. I was happy to talk to him about that. You should put a video on the Maroney comic. Which Maroney comic? The Maron comic, like yesterday. I should, like a breaking news type video. I should. Box Brown's an awesome cartoonist. I'm a big fan of him. He's done a book on Andy Kaufman, Andre the Giant. His Tetris book is amazing. He's done books on legalization of cannabis. It's like his ongoing mini comic he's doing on his channel. And then he also had the He-Man and the Toys of the 80s graphic novel. I forget what that one's called. And some other stuff. But Box Brown's awesome. I have some of his mini comics, his self-published stuff. You're right. Maybe I'll do a separate video talking about the Raina Talgemeier Box Brown comic. I do like to do those kind of news videos. Maron is in the zeitgeist. Get those clicks, doggy. He is calling out Joe Rogan and all his frat boy buddies. Marc Maron is. He's just the best, right? He's hilarious. The way he's calling them out too. He's just like levels above those guys, and it makes those guys look like jokes. I have the He-Man and Andre books. Try to get Tetris. Yes, Tetris is super interesting. It sounds kind of boring because it's like about the creation of Tetris, but it's actually quite thrilling. The loops and hoops that people go throughout the book. I absolutely love that book. Yes, Maron is the king. You're absolutely right. And Harvey, actually, you're the one that put me onto this. There's like this sector of YouTube where people have the YouTube channels dedicated to calling out comedians when they F up or when they suck or whenever they're having beef with people. And I think it's because of that is where I became aware of this, because my YouTube algorithm just inherently was popping up with Marc Maron stuff recently. But you're right. I should get on the bandwagon of the algorithm, get some Marc Maron fans maybe to come watch the channel. But I'm excited about the graphic novel. It's about the crazy rush. Yes, that's the big part of it. It's really quite thrilling. Elephant Graveyard. He's the king even. I think that's one of them. Yeah, I think that's the one that you shared with me that I subscribe to now. I posted photos of the pen and ink on the Discord. There you go. So if you go to my Discord, which James has shared a number of times in the chat, It's also in the description of this video. We talk comics over there. It's a fun gathering of people there that just love comics. Josh has included some process stuff over there. So definitely go check that out if you want to see more about Bang Ballad of the Tiger. So I'm going to go through my plugs. Any other last minute comments in the chat, let me know. But you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Taylor Talks Comics, just search for that on any of those platforms. I'm putting out a lot of short form content on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. If that's your thing. Also doing long form pre-recorded content as well on YouTube. That's my main domain. And we go live every week on this platform in this spot. Same bat channel, same bat time, noon on Wednesdays, noon Eastern. I'll be here every Wednesday for the foreseeable future. And yeah, so thank you for Josh. Thank you for Josh coming on. Everyone go support his Kickstarter. Make his dreams come true. Where Bang the Ballad Tiger could be in more hands and in front of more eyeballs. You got to DM me who you're following. I got to know. I don't know. The only one I'm subscribed to, if you're talking about the comedian beefs on YouTube, I think the only one I'm subscribed to is Elephant Graveyard. The other ones just pop up in my algorithm. I could tell you who they were, but it's in my history on YouTube. But the only one I subscribed to is the one that you sent me. But that's it. Thank you guys. I'll see you next week on Wednesday at noon Eastern. I will see you throughout the week with my pre-recorded content. Everyone subscribe, comment down below, share with your friends, all that jazz, and keep talking comics.